Hey guys, Music Elite is here today and I'm back with another video. Now today's video we're going to be reacting to Sleeping with Sirens song called If You Can't Hang. Now this was actually suggested to me by a new subscriber of mine by the name of Kate, so big shout out to Kate. She told me to react to this song and another one of their newer songs, and I'll be checking that out. So I just want to give her a big shout out to subscribe to the channel, also to Ingrid, Anna Handler. These are the two new subscribers to the channel, so a big thank you to both of them for subscribing, and thank you to Kate for suggesting this song and one of their other ones, their new one. I forgot what the name of it was, but I'll try to check that out possibly next week, because there's a couple of songs I have in mind that I want to check out this week, and I'll just save that one up for next. So yeah, this song I've seen quite a bit on my timeline. I actually kind of saved it on my watch later page. I was going to watch it, react to it at some point, but since she told me to do it, I might as well just do it now, so that seems pretty cool. Also, like I said, I've seen this quite a bit, so this is definitely their most popular, video, and I've seen it years ago. I just never really listened to the song, but I've seen the thumbnail before, so yeah, it does seem quite big, and I can't wait to get into it. I want to see why so many people love it, so yeah, let's get into it.
Baby, if you can't hang, then there's the door, baby. If you can't hang, then there's the door, baby. If you can't hang, then there's the door. I don't wanna take your precious time, 'cause you're such a pretty, 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 pretty face, but you turn into a pretty big waste of my time. I don't wanna take up all your time, 'cause you're such a pretty, 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 pretty face, but you turn into a pretty big waste of my time. You're the lowest type, you're the lowest. I met a girl talking away, she found a boy she knew she'd change. I changed my clothes, my hair, my things, so I just go our separate ways. She said we'd grown apart for some time, but then she left, nobody knew. I hope Mr. Right was up with all the bullshit that you do. While I sit here by myself and figure out how I got this way. Before you go, there's one thing you wanna know. If you can't hang, then there's the door, baby. If you can't hang, then there's the door, baby. If you can't hang, then there's the door, baby. If you can't hang, then there's the door. I don't wanna take your precious time, 'cause
Okay, so it's obvious what this song's about, which I kind of like. I'm okay with songs that are, more, I guess you could say secretive, or I forgot what the word is, where, it's not as transparent, but I'm okay with those songs where it's like, more of you have to look through the message. But I really like songs that just give you straight up what it's about, because it can be a little confusing sometimes when you listen to a song and they have a story behind it, but you don't know what the story's about, and you have to basically decipher it, and it's like, I'm just here to listen to good music and try to hear a story. I don't want to go through this deciphering and trying to analyze, the symbols and this and that. So this is very straightforward what it's about. It's about, him, his relationship past with other women that he had, and how they would, he was with them and they left him for somebody else and they broke up with him, and he's like, you know what, if you can't, stay with me or hang with me, then you can just leave, which is a good mindset that I think a lot of people should, ingrain into their own, I guess, personality when it comes to dealing with, relationships. But at first he was a little petty about it with telling her, oh, I hope you guys are happy, and he breaks her heart and whatever and stuff like that. I don't know if I would agree with that part, but the whole situation about, you know, if you can't handle me, then fine, go ahead and just leave. I do appreciate that, because the problem a lot of people have when it comes to relationship is they get a little too attached to the other person. And here's the thing, as depressing as it may be, just realize that even if the person really loves you and your relationship was like really great or whatever, and you had a lot of chemistry and stuff, it doesn't always last. I mean, it's very evident in society. We've seen that nowadays there's like, I think the divorce rates are like 70% or something like that, and it's ridiculously high. So divorces happen quite a bit, breakups happen quite a bit. It's not, you know, something that is uncommon. It's quite common, and it's not that rare anymore. So if you're going to a relationship, just know, don't be pessimistic and think that, oh, it's not going to work out well, but just know that the chances of it surviving isn't 100%. So you should always have it in the back of your head that they might leave you or something might happen, and you have to be able to accept that they're going to leave and be able to handle it in a, you know, the correct manner, because people handle it differently, but there's definitely right ways and wrong ways to handle, you know, these situations. And his mindset is very great, where it's like, just go, fine, leave, I don't care. Though you could probably argue that maybe that's more of a defense mechanism, where he's hiding his true emotions and he's just really like sad about it, which that's fine too, but as long as you do naturally get over it at some point. But like I said, a lot of people think that, oh, because we love each other, that our relationship is going to last, but that's not how it always works, because there's a ton of relationships where the, you know, two people loved each other, but then somebody might have cheated, or, you know, the love fades or whatever. So it happens. So you need to realize, don't be pessimistic or paranoid assuming that they're cheating or going to leave you or it's not going to work out, but also don't be so you know, carefree and so lenient to think that that this won't happen to you. Just be, you know, always be cautious and always be aware that it can happen, and think to yourself, if it does happen, would I be able to handle it, and how would I handle it? And that will be the most defining moment of, you know, the situation, if it does arise. Hopefully it doesn't, but if it does, which most likely it might, just be prepared to let them go. A lot of people can get very attached, and it's gonna hurt. I'm not saying that you're not gonna have any, you know, emotional feelings about it just because they left, but don't let that, you know, fester in you forever, and don't use that to try to hold it, because if they're gonna leave, you know, don't waste your time. Find somebody that will want you, you know, completely. For me personally, I'm not gonna stay with somebody that's looking at somebody else. Of the moment I see somebody, like if I'm with a girl and she's checking out other people, I don't want to deal with you. Don't fucking waste my time. Like he said, don't waste my time. Don't get into a situation with me, because I'm not here to be playing this little game of, oh, I'm proving myself. I'm not here to prove myself to anybody. The only person I want to prove myself to is my own self. So I'm not here to prove it to you. You're nobody to me. So if you want to do that shit, go ahead, but don't waste my time. And I think that's a good mindset to have when it comes to these situations. And like I said, it's hard not to be pessimistic and very paranoid, especially with the modern day society, with you know, dating. But it's also, you know, good to have some level of caution and not be so carefree, because then if you do, you're gonna end up getting really hurt, and then when that happens, then it just turns bad. So just always be prepared. And it sucks. I wish, you know, in a perfect world, we wish that the person that we like, you know, stays with us forever, and, you know, everything goes great, but it's just not realistic. So you have to, you know, maneuver in different ways, you know, even ways you don't want to. But yeah, I think it's a very you know, powerful message, and I think it's very cool to see the way he's doing it, and he's so straightforward. I don't like, you know, them, you know, trying to be coy about it. Just tell me what the situation is about, so I can get a better understanding about it. So yeah, let's get back into it.
So we can prescribe me medication, so I can deal with inside, baby, would you please stay and please be mine?
So that was Sleeping with Sirens, If You Can't Hang. That was a great suggestion by Kate. It was an amazing song. I can see why it's so popular. One, it's very catchy. Two, it's very fun. Three, the message is direct and straightforward. It's not, messing around. It's really telling you what it is, which I really appreciate. And four, it's very relatable to a lot of people, and they can understand this because, getting into relationships and love it's quite common to a lot of people. A lot of people have dealt with it, so it's it's a lot easier for people to understand than other emotions, especially like something like depression, where only some people go through, not everybody. But this one is definitely like, a lot of people can have some connection to it. Now, like I stated, I was talking about the whole relationship dynamics and stuff. Sorry for the noise out there, there's some big ass truck. But for the relationship dynamics, you can see it still affects him and the situation going with, and he's, passively aggressively singing about, the pretty face and pretty waste of time, which I understand. And he's talking about how throughout all this time throughout his life, how he gave so much and they just walked off with it and, treated him badly. And for me personally, I think people who do deal with this, that people that are doing that are scummy for doing that, but it's also on you to take some accountability and say, hey, why do I keep on getting into situations? Maybe I should, more evaluate who I pick in a relationship. One, I should, I should check them out more to see who they are as a person before I get into anything serious with them. Two, I should also not just look at their looks and focus more on other things like, their morality, their personality, who they are as a person, because that's always going to be the most important thing. The looks, it's important to a certain degree to, oh, that's attractive and appealing, but when you get more to it, and especially if you're going to get serious, you have to look at those things, and those are the most important things. So you always have to look at that and say, hey, look, I messed up, maybe I should pick better, maybe I should make better choices with who I pick, because if you keep on going through it, if it's once or twice, it's understandable, but if it keeps on happening, then it's like you're basically playing the fool, and you never want to play the fool. You would always want to be like, a wise person, and if you make a mistake, you want to learn from it. You don't want to keep on doing it and then blaming the mistake and stuff. It'd be like, oh, well, if I keep on falling for it, then I have some blame to, in this situation. But he said he gave them everything. You shouldn't have to give somebody everything. That person, if they truly care about you, they don't need everything from you. They just need you to be there, and some stuff like support, you by their side, some more personal things. But also, I think a lot of guys do this a lot, where they give a woman everything and then they lose them, and then this really hurts them and this gets them angry. For me personally, what I would say is, don't just give up everything right away. Try to know who they are. Unless they're giving to you as much as you are to them, then that's fine. But if they're not giving to you as much as you are to them, then why are you doing that? Like, if you're giving them all this love and attention and support and money and all this other stuff, but they're not doing anything for you, then they clearly are selfish and only care about themselves. Because a relationship should be symbiotic, where both partners should be benefiting from it, and it doesn't have to be financially. It could be emotionally, mentally, whatever you want. But there's a lot of relationships where are parasitic, and a lot of guys don't understand that the situations they're in are very parasitic. The people they're with are just taking from them, and they're just giving. That should never be the case. It should be a give or take for both of them. They both should sacrifice and care for each other. And if they're not, then just leave, because you're going to end up in this situation. So there's many ways to go through it, but it is always confusing. It's never that simple and straightforward, and emotions can muddle things up. Even the most logically obvious things that you would assume can get muddled up through our own emotions. So sometimes we need to keep that in check a little bit and be like, hey, there's nothing wrong with having emotions and going to a relationship with some love, but not to fully do it, because then you're gonna end up getting played at some point. So yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed, and stay tuned for next time.